Hey Jews, throughout our history as a nation of Israel, there have been many rabbis and saints and geniuses who have left information for us about how to play this game of life. The game of life. So let's just think of life as a game, okay? Because there's many different parables that our chachamim, our smart people, the rabbis and sages of generations gone by, have explained to us, because they say, look, we know for 100% certainty that we're all going to die. We know that. Okay, so the most important thing to do in your life then would be to investigate like why we're here. What's the point of life? Okay, so, and I'm going to explain in my way now about the game of life in a parable that I think that we can relate to a little bit better than maybe in previous generations, and hopefully I'll be able to explain also why that is. Okay, so let's think really that this life is like a simulation of a video game or of just any game, okay, that we can relate to. Okay, so what do we need for the game? Okay, we need teams. And so the teams are actually 70 nations. I'll explain a little bit about who they are. And another team, the nation of Israel. Okay, and it's like 70 against 1. But what? We actually have the playbook of how to win the game. Okay? And it's in the Torah. It's just, Torah is hora'ah, guide or instructions. So it's just a guidebook. Okay? And I'm going to explain a little bit about this. However, I would like to invite you to go and look at all of my videos, if you can, one by one. And you can grow with me in my understanding of what's going on in the world. And why is it important to learn Torah? And who are the Jews? Who's the holy nation of Israel? Like what's going on here? What's the state, of Israel? And what's going on in our world? What's the New World Order? What's Agenda 2030? Like everything, okay? So if you watch my videos, my very first one was Introduction to Judaism, okay? Because I grew up without really understanding Judaism and really understanding what it meant to be a Jew. Didn't care about it. I was over here in a different ideology, okay? Grew up secular. I grew up knowing that I'm Jewish, doing some Jewish things like the high holidays. We could call ourselves conservative Jews. Okay, but my ideology, how I looked at life, what I wanted to achieve in life, how I acted, everything, whatever, was all not Jewish. So there is a Jewish ideology. Okay, and it's different than the 70. You can see that, okay? So I'm not going to go into all of this. You can, like I said, I have many different videos that kind of show my growth throughout this past year, which has been, I feel, accelerated because I live in Eretz Israel. I came to live in the Holy Land, and I got married, and I'm doing a lot more mitzvot. We're doing the holidays with awareness and consciousness, okay? So let's talk about the game of life. There are two teams, basically. There's the 70 nations, and some of these teams play against each other also, okay? But it's the 70 nations and the nation of Israel. Now, the point is to build your perfect man, okay? So what we think the ideal is, the ideal human being, okay? So in our guidebook, we know that the ideal human being is somebody who was like Adam before he sinned, okay? Before things broke down. That's the ideal man who was made by a creator, an intelligent, loving creator who blew life into a physical vessel, okay? So we know also from our guidebook that reality is 5-dimensional. It's 3 in the physical, 1 is spiritual, and 1 is time. And the home, the home court advantage, yeah, it belongs to the 70 nations, okay? Because this is the situation, okay? They have home team advantage, meaning the more physical part of the reality in our world. Okay, the olam hazeh. this world, okay? Which is a world that is mixed with truth and lies, okay? And like I said, they have home team advantage, okay? And it's more physical, okay? Because we're in a physical body. In this world, we have a physical body, we have a soul, which is a spiritual aspect, and we're given a certain amount of time on the board, each one of us players. Okay, so usually it's about 70 years or 80 years, says King Solomon in Tehillim, in some of the books that were written for us to understand and decode and understand what to do in the game of life. Because in previous generations, we had the all-stars of the game. They had to come out in the first quarter in order to leave for us a very detailed guidebook. So in later generations, when they knew there would be less and less all-stars, let's just say, that we'd have all their information, okay? So we'd have all of their explanation on this guidebook in order to now use our brains and figure out what's going on and start to win the game. So like I said, we're trying to build like the perfect human being. And we know what that would look like. It would look like Adam. And we know basically how to do it. We just follow the guidebook. There's 613 meets foot we have to do. There's all sorts of other things we have to do. We have to separate. Like this is the playbook. This is the training for the nation of Israel, the holy nation. You know, just like if you were on a sports team or something and you'd have to get up early at 6 a.m. and go run laps or, you know, eat a certain diet in order to be lean and muscular, and you would have to, you know, do certain things. And then at certain times of the year, there are big games. Game day, like Rosh Hashanah. Game day, like Purim, Pesach, all the holidays. Shavuot, Sukkot, okay, where you're supposed to be playing the game. And during those times, you get bonus points. Okay, so you get like, you know, imagine in a video game where you get like your extra lives. Okay, that's like and then there's other days where you have to fast, and there's other things, certain things that you have to do in order to become a player of the game and know what's going on and have some sort of consciousness about it. Okay, but they have home court advantage. The body is very dense. Okay, it's very dense and it's very, very, very attracted to Olam Hazeh. It's very attracted to all they call them te'ovot, all the desires that appeal to the physical body. And then what happens is, like I said, you have your certain time. So this is the time's on the board, okay? And you're trying to help create the perfect man. Okay, and that means all the characteristics, like so there would be a man and a woman acting in a certain way, behaving in according to certain guidelines, in order to ensure that they're healthy physically, spiritually, okay, and in order for them to get to do their work that moves the game towards this direction, okay? Whereas in the other side, it's all going down to a different kind of man. Let's just say they're building somebody that they think is ideal, okay, which would be transgender or no gender. Okay, it's actually just everything that's against God. There's no justice, as you can see. It's a world where anything is possible. Anything could be true or false. Everyone has their own truth. Everybody is super important. Like, it's just, you can see now a little bit more about what they think the ideal man is and what they think the ideal world looks like. It looks like whatever they've written there in New World Order Plans Agenda 2030, okay? So we're here. It's a system of randomness and a system of survival of the fittest, just like you learn, okay? Just like you learn that it's survival of the fittest. And so in order for that to work also, there has to be also no God. It was probably just random. We're all evolution, whatever, even though those theories don't check out at the end of time. I mean, at the end of the day, when you investigate, like we should, there's a lot of things that just don't jive. Okay, so whatever. They got their playbook from other sources. We got our playbook from the source. Okay, and it's a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage, okay? So that's why, look, we had some all-stars, like I said. We had Noah, we had Shem, we had Avraham Avinu and Sarah. And these are things that we have to know. Okay, we have to know our history, because we have to understand that these people knew what they were doing, what they were saying. These guys knew that they would set up a nation, a team, to play for this side. And they knew that it would be, so they did everything that they could to make that happen, whatever it took. And Yaakov Avinu became Israel, okay? So from him, the 12 tribes came, okay? And this is a different system. Abraham was taken out of this system of randomness and dog eat dog and survival of the fittest, and he's put into a different system that says, now I'm going to take care of you. God's going to provide. All you have to do is you're the A team. You have to set up an A team that can win this game, okay? Because it's going to be a long time. This is us, right? So we have a physical body, a soul, and some time to live. But this is also reality. It's 5-dimensional. So we have a physical plane, okay, which is 3-dimensional. And we have a spiritual reality also happening. And we have the time of the world. So we have from 0, 3,000, 6,000, okay? And around just after the halfway point, we had Purim, okay? So we know where we are on our timeline. Also, the year here is 5,784. Okay, so we're at the end of time. This time element's going to run out, okay? And when that does, the game kind of is over. In a way. I'm not going to explain everything here. This could be part 1 if anybody's even interested, or until I just feel like it. I don't know, whichever comes first. It would be nice to have some feedback. But anyway, so we're at the end of time, and there's certain things that some of our star players have written down for us to explain what happens at the end of time and how to know what's happening, okay, and know what to do. So like I said, we got taken out of the system, and now we have a new system. Okay, it's the Jewish system. It's Judaism. Okay, and it was given, and we were told, you know what? Just intermarry here. Don't mingle. Just keep yourselves on this side so you can get the blessing, so you can do your work in this world. And at the end, by the way, I forgot to say, there is a humongous prize, and it's called eternity with God, where everything is just revealed and open and beautiful and wonderful. Everything that you wish it would be in this world, but somehow it's just not. Okay, because our Chachamim tell us that just like they have the home advantage, and one of the things that's really, really pulling us down into materialism is our desires for the material, okay? But our soul longs for God. It longs for this, okay? So you're fighting against your nature. Okay, because the nature of man as an animal is pretty much what it looks like in this world. Dog eat dog world, survival of the fittest. Okay, but your soul is loftier. Your soul longs for God, the creator. Your soul is looking for that. Says the Ramchal, one of our very smart teachers, A-list top-notch player of his time, who left us his manuals, his books, his experience, his wisdom, his suggestions. What do you got to do? You got to perfect yourself. You got to work on yourself via my book, Mesilat Yesharim. Okay, and I'm going to link some of the things in my description. Okay, so they've left us their information. Okay, and you should go and look, who are these people? Okay, for example, the Vilna Gaon, the genius of Vilna. These people were so smart, we can't even understand it right now. Okay, we can't understand their wisdom. We're not even playing at their level. Some of us don't even know we're playing a game. We're just caught up here in all of the turmoil and all of the emotion and all of the everything that's going on in this part of the game board. Okay, you're still on level 1 and 2. Oops. Where other people are moving on with the game. But see, as time has gone by, okay, there's been less and less of the nation of Israel playing the game for this side and building this. Less and less and less. Okay, so these people are tired. This holy nation of Israel, kind of tired. So then, my guess, we got a little bit of an opportunity here when in 1948, and before that, always we had Jews here, not even talking about anything, that there was an opening for a lot of the team to come home and at least have a little bit of the help here that you get directly from God. That's why this is a holy land. This is why it's the nations of it belongs to the nation of Israel, because it's the holy land which belongs to God, and we are the holy nation, okay, who's playing for this side, the holy side, okay? So, but what else happened was it couldn't just be that easy, because if we all just came home and played this game, had our head in the game, then boom, the game would be over. Right? So instead, there's other people here too. The state of Israel, the anti-Torah laws. Okay, like you have to see it like a game in a way. And I'm sorry if this is not making sense, but I'm trying to say that like throughout time, if you see now and you look at, let's say, Orthodox Jews, and you're like, well, that doesn't look attractive to me in any way. I don't want it. They're tired. Imagine now that these are your teammates who over time have been like running forward, and less people are giving them support. Less and less people are doing the job to, to get to the end of to win the game. So we need backup, and I am backup. I came to join this team in like 2016, let's just say, because I started to wake up here in 2014, around there, and I was like, wait a minute, like reality doesn't quite make sense. And I did have this desire for some sort of spiritual information in my life, so I was looking, and I was open, and I became more healthy, okay? Started eating kosher. Big things to help me be more in tune with consciousness of this game and how to play it. Okay, so the other nations, like I said, they have home court advantage, both in the fact that this is the most material world of all of the creation. So creation is complicated, you guys. It's not just like we don't know what happens when we die. We know for 100% that we are going to die, and we have people who in our past told us what to do with our lives. Okay, and what's happening? So throughout time, we had very, very smart and good coaches and players, and they have left their wisdom for us. So at this time, we can wake up and see that we're in some sort of a game, and what it's looking like, okay? It's looking, when we look around us, like we're the nation of Israel, the holy nation of Israel. I mean, according to the Torah, like how the ideal would look like the first temple. Like we would have the temple. So getting to this spot, I mean, that's the goal. So if you are playing, if you don't know you're playing a game of life, then wake up and know that there's certain things that we have to do. This life means something. I have a video called Jew Have a Purpose, Believe It or Not. And I invite you just to take a look at it. There is a purpose for the nation of Israel. That's why it was created. Okay, there's a purpose to having the instruction manual, the Torah, and all the things that go along with it. There's a purpose to Shabbat. There's a purpose to the holidays. There's a purpose to your life. Okay, and there's a purpose for everything that happens. We're told, even Rabbi Avigdor Miller, in one of his books, I think it was The Divine Madness, which I'm going to also put in my description, along with a bunch of other books that I think are necessary to get started and wake up and start learning. So he said that if you look into the Jewish history, okay, which is obviously above nature, like I said, it's not in this random system of chaos. So you can see that whereas, for example, many other nations have just disappeared, that's dog eat dog, okay? But the nation of Israel has not disappeared over time, and they have tried over and over, as we know. Okay, so we can see that it's already not normal. And that's God helping us. There has to be a nation of Israel. There has to be a holy nation of Israel in this reality to play this game. Otherwise, they're all playing for the wrong, like, they're all playing for the same side anyway. Okay, so it's just who's the best at it for them here. Like, you could literally have hundreds of trillions of dollars and watch your fellow man, whole countries of people starve and die, and you'll kill them yourself if you can. That's this ideology. Okay, where over here we're told to live a different way, and we're told to separate. Okay, get your head in the game, Holy Nation of Israel, because at the end, look, if we don't win the game, okay, so it's like at any generation could be the generation that would have the Mashiach. That's what we're told. Okay, and that's what's expected of us. Just follow the rules. Okay, play the game the best you can, and know that at the end of the day, at the end of the game, you're going to get rewarded. You're going to win the game. Okay, so we're expected actually to do that. And it would be a great thing if we were the generation in 5,784 that did get the kingdom of David. So not the state of Israel, which is a part actually of this game, the New World Order. The state of Israel is one of the 19 centers, okay, for the third industrial revolution. You have to be open to understanding who the players are. Okay, so imagine too that after you play the game, after you die, imagine you go to like the what do you call it? To rest in the team locker rooms or whatever, something nicer. Okay, you go to the lounge and you wait out and you get to watch the rest of the game. Okay, you did your best part. You scored some goals or whatever. You got us to certain levels in the game. And now you go and sit out and get refreshed and get to be with all the previous souls that played the game before you. And now they're watching us. They're prodigy. Okay, and now they're saying, okay, how are you guys doing now in this year, 5,784? Did you bother to read the book about what I told you to do? When you see this is happening, what you got to do? You're not even opening the book anymore. Now you're playing for this side. I mean, they're watching us, probably. Like, I'm just saying, imagine, okay? Imagine they're looking down and now they're like, no, you know, I don't know, go for the, I don't really play a lot of, I've never really played a lot of video games or anything, but I imagine it's like, no, you know, like get as many of those colorful gems and that will help you. And you'll advance a level, and no, you want to, you know, whatever. That's all basically what the Torah is, okay? And all the commentary on it and all the books that they wrote. And right now, at this time, they said, look, why did the strongest players have to start the game? Because they had to leave us this information, because they knew that at the end of time, because these guys have other things. They have sorcery, they have brainwashing, they have, like I said, they have the home team advantage or whatever. Okay, so as the time is going on, we have weaker players. We're weaker players in a way because we've been more exposed to their brainwashing, we've been more mixed in. We haven't kept ourselves as holy and as pure. We haven't kept ourselves in top condition. Like, it's like as if you're now going to go where, like, if you're not a top-notch athlete, it's now just like right now go and participate in the Olympics in like any sport. Okay, so we need to get back in the game. Keeping kosher, keeping Shabbat, learning Torah, understanding what's going on. Okay, and understanding also that now, in the past, okay, they had different ways to like try to like trip us up. Okay, like we know in the stories from the Torah, some of the things that happened along the way from getting out of Egypt, going to the land of Israel, that they did certain things, okay? So they're doing that all the time. They're just drawing your attention over here, just to confuse you or just to preoccupy you, distract you, or you're actually now on their team. You can see I had a video called Useful Idiots. Okay, so the idea is that there's a game going on. There's a certain amount of time, and we don't have very much time left. We have about 216 years that if we aren't the generation that brings the Mashiach, which is just the king, our like, I don't even know how you would call it, like a very, like the guy that's going to, like the guy that is the best at the game, he's just going to come and finish the game for us. Okay, so if we merit that, like if we get at least over to a certain point in by ourselves, we've done everything that they've told us to, we've worked very hard to keep ourselves holy and to do everything that we said we would do that's in the Torah, and we get to a certain point, then we're just going to have like the king of the game come and finish it off for us, build the temple, and we'll enjoy the reward of our efforts throughout all the time. Okay, so we have 216 years to do that. Maybe, not really. Who knows? But basically we're told we're only going to the year 6,000 and we're 5,784. If we don't achieve that, okay, we will go so far down into here, okay, into their ideal world, which is the New World Order, which is Agenda 2030, etc., 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 where you'll own nothing, yeah, and you'll eat bugs, and you'll get their poison vaccines, and you'll get their poison food, maybe, and you'll never, ever, ever leave your 15-minute city, or you'll compromise yourself so much to get something, to satisfy something of your material desires. You'll just keep compromising yourself and compromising yourself, okay? Until a certain point where God will just save whatever remaining Jews are worthy of being saved, I guess. Okay, only 1/5 of the nation of Israel even made it out the first time, okay? And this time we have the ways to keep ourselves holy and keep ourselves a part of the holy nation of Israel. This nation that never got destroyed over time knows its entire story. We know it's our entire story from the beginning until what happens in the end. What happens to the nation of Israel in the end? Well, we know it gets redeemed and it gets the reward, Olam Haba, which is very, very, very good. Much, much, much better than anything here in this 5-dimensional lowest level of reality that we fell down into because of sins, believe it or not. And it's called Olam Hazeh, the world of lies. Okay, so think of the most amazing thing that you can ever think about as being a reward in this world. And it's nothing even that it's not even comparable at all to something that we can't even comprehend what's going to be in the Olam Haba, the eternal world where God is revealed. So that's the game, you guys. And yeah, if you're starting to notice that things are getting a little bit weird in our reality, looks a little bit pre-Holocaust, well, guess what? We were supposed to learn something from the Holocaust. What did we learn? We just went back and did mostly everything the same, mixed in, assimilated, made for us reform Judaisms, all sorts of different and new customs and whatever. Not Judaism, okay? So you're not on this team, okay? You're just distracted at best. But some even not as good as that, let's just say. Okay, so the other thing that we have to know, like I said, we all know that we're going to die, okay? So even, for example, like in the Holocaust, okay, when we don't think it's fair, maybe, that like religious Jews also died, or, we don't understand. So what did it do? What good did it do them to live that kind of life, which is not assimilation, okay? That still, seemed primitive at a time in the 1920s, 30s, whatever, when Jews were becoming more assimilated and living better lives, let's just say, and free of any of the, restrictions that were previously always, seemed like they were in the nation of Israel. Okay, so what good did it do them? Well, we're all going to die, okay? So at the end of the day, how you die is also important, okay? And one of the best ways to die, in a way, is sanctifying the holy name of God, saying yes, that this whole thing is the truth, and it's a truth I'm willing to die for, even at the end of the day, and sanctifying God's name, okay? So don't think that some of these holy people that did maybe perish in the Holocaust, that it was for nothing, because we also know, like, people even like Rabbi Akiva died horrendous deaths. Terrible. And even it's written in different places about, like, how even the angels came and said, like, whoa, like, this is his reward for learning Torah and being like the all-time great of the, one of the star players of this team. Like, that's his reward. Oh, I guess that's to show us that, look, we can't always understand all the dimensions of our reality properly, okay? And we're also shown in many examples in our history that at certain times the nation as a whole misinterpreted some aspects of our reality. And we're told also, like I said, by very smart people like the Ramchal, that oftentimes, like, we don't have enough of the information that we need in order to be able to evaluate properly the events of our reality. Does that make sense? Like, we're shown one thing, or we see one thing, or we understand one thing, but we can't put it into context if you don't have the right information. So, for example, somebody I was speaking with this week said to me, but why? And because I was saying, look, just don't celebrate the Independence Day of the State of Israel this year. Just don't celebrate it, okay? I mean, you could go further if you're an all-star and fast, because you know that that's not the proper shilton, that's not the proper rule, like rulers of this land, okay? The proper way, like what we actually want, is a king, is the kingdom of David, okay? And not anybody's dead Rebbe, okay? That's just a distraction and something else. Okay, and that's why people like the Vilna Gaon were, against Hasidiyut, okay? Because there's a lot of problems with the players here at this point too, okay? So we need reinforcements. And I give an example, just like before, when we saw people who were vaccine hesitant or against vaccines, and there were people fighting this, a lot more of the people thought that they were crazy or outdated or conspiracy theorists or whatever. Whereas now, after COVID, okay, so after some of our reality was reevaluated, a lot of us reevaluated reality during COVID and after COVID, and things don't add up. So we know that there's a lie. We are now clued into some certain things. And so now in retrospect, we can go back and say, yes, okay, so you're right. We can't fully rely on our health professionals, on the government, on, pharmacology, on pharmaceutical industrial complex. We can't fully rely on these people, and we have proof even, and more is coming out, okay, about certain things like that. So now when you look at the people who were against vaccines before COVID, now we see that they've been fighting a long time alone, and we were against them. We were hindering them. We were preventing the truth from coming out because we were so convinced about what we thought we knew. Okay, and some of us have very big egos, which helps this side. The perfect man is humble, and eager to learn the truth, thirsts for the truth, wants the truth, doesn't justify the lie, doesn't justify. If we are told in the guidebook, okay, to keep kosher, you don't keep kosher because you're justifying what you want. You want to not eat kosher. You want to eat bacon. You want to eat at all the good restaurants. You want to not be limited in like your physical pleasures at all. Okay, so you're justifying that. Now, well, there was a need for some sort of rules around food back in the day because they didn't have a refrigeration and they didn't this and that and the next thing. Okay, so you're justifying the reasons why you're not keeping kosher without understanding the full picture. And now you may see that a lot of the things they do to our food is hurting us and killing us. And it's meant to. Some were just happy accidents that they found out later, maybe. But it's very important to understand the bigger picture. Okay, so and without, because there's many different levels to the Torah, it's not one-dimensional like some other books out there. Okay, that's just the story and good luck. You have to believe in that. God actually tells us don't believe. And I have a class that I really urge everybody to watch, which is called Why God Commanded the Jews Not to Believe in Him. He commanded us to learn, because once you learn and you become awakened to the whole situation, then you understand. And once you understand, you will do. And once you do, you become a player for the holy nation of Israel, which will be redeemed at the end of time. Are you on the team? Are you playing the game? Do you know what the perfect, how we should act? Because we're actually expected to become the perfect person. We're supposed to be humble. We're supposed to be generous. We're supposed to be kind. We're supposed to be merciful. We're supposed to be lots of amazing things. We're supposed to be modest. Okay, so if you hear anybody who looks like they're on the team, they have the uniform, okay, they look like a rabbi, and they're all about just really obscene and overt sexual anything, know that's not part of this Torah. It's a kilkul. It's a complete distortion. It's disgusting. It's really, if you're a rabbi and you have a sex shop, or you talk about sex, it's so ridiculous. Like, it would be funny if it wasn't so terrible. Remember when I said, like, the best way to die would be on Kiddush Hashem, to sanctify God's name? Even if you do things, like, in your life that just make Judaism seem disgusting and like a joke, that's the opposite of Kiddush Hashem. That's called Chilul Hashem. It's like you're making a joke out of this whole game of life, and you're pulling down good people who otherwise might clue in and start getting in the game. Okay, so like I said, you can think of the Torah as just like the instruction manual, okay, to this game. And a lot of Jews have we have such good hearts. And we're on this team. We come from these people who were it says in Isaiah, I think it's like 50, I can't remember, it's like 48 to 53 or something, somewhere in there. It says that the commentary on that, if you read it, it says that we have to understand that we are descended from the most noble and most amazing people in the history of the entire world. We have to know our history, and that again is what God tells us, is to go back and learn. And don't believe in Him, but learn about Him. Learn about creation. Learn about our reality. Learn from the best. You have all the books you need. Okay, back in the day when, like I said, we needed the better players initially to write those books, first of all, but also it was harder for them to get other people's information. So, for example, if you lived at a time when, you didn't have internet, or you didn't have like a good distribution, you didn't know that somebody in, Vilna was writing an amazing book, and you live in Eretz Israel, and you had no idea. Okay, but now we do. We have so much opportunity to learn Torah in ways that we never did before in the past, and we need that because we're more physical, we're less spiritual, we're less awake to the game, we're less conscious, we're more impure, and we have a lot of catching up to do. So therefore we have the most information ever available to us. We have the internet. We have many smart holy rabbis from the nation of Israel who are helping everybody clue in. Okay, so think of it like you're training. You have to start training. You have to start playing the game. And there's a video from Rabbi, Google it. Okay, I don't have time to go and do all this, but Rabbi Alon Anava, he had something from a few years ago called Teshuvah Boot Camp. Something like that, okay? And I did that. It was like several weeks. It was for Elul. But I mean, go and listen to it any time and start doing tshuva, which is repenting. Because you can't just come like with all your impurities and start playing in the game and be like, whatever. You have to deprogram from this ideology and reprogram into this ideology. So there's a period of time when you have to kind of clean your slate, okay? And you do that with tshuva, where you ask God to help you. Okay, and then another thing, by the way, is that, like I said, in previous generations, we had better players, okay? So those better players had more points racked up in their game, okay? And since we don't have enough points to get to the higher levels, it seems, or on our own, what we can do is pray to God in the merit of those people, okay, to get their merit that will help us. Does that make sense? So, for example, if you're praying for something right now, like, please, you should pray that maybe their psychological operations don't work on you anymore, that you can see reality clearly. You should pray in the merit of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And that's exactly what you say when you open up your prayer to God, which could be anytime, anywhere, out loud from your mouth. For example, if you go to bed at night, as you're laying down, you say, please God, in the merit of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, our forefathers, please don't let their psychological operations and mind control and sorcery work on me so that I may see the truth. Please help me. You have to find merit of people who came before us at this point, and that's the most effective way, I think, to pray to God, because we haven't accumulated enough. If we're mixed in, if we're assimilated, if we're playing for the other team, we may not have enough merit to get the help that we need to get back on the team. So we got to start doing everything we can. Like, for example, keep Shabbat, keep kosher, start learning Torah, start maybe going to your Orthodox synagogues and talking to people who are there or to rabbis, and start opening your mind. Start deleting this ego, which is just a hard shell around your heart and a hard shell around your mind that's making you think like you know everything already, and you don't even know we're playing a game. You don't even know what time it is. You don't know that it's the end times. And so you don't understand what anti-Semitism is. You don't understand what happened at the Holocaust. You don't understand what happens when we die, okay? But you can. So you got to start, and that's what I'm saying, okay? And that's my parable. So did that make it more understandable or less? But you have to go back and learn your history, and I invite you to look at all my other videos, hopefully help you get a bigger awareness and a better understanding of what the Torah is, and that it is for you. It's for every single last Jew. And by the way, if you yourself feel like that's very abstract and you know whatever, but you can start keeping Shabbat. If you keep Shabbat, okay, because look, if you are a Jew living over here and you don't keep Shabbat, which is a minimum, okay, then like this side has a blessing. Okay, so in the nation of Israel, you get your blessing, your money is all kosher, okay, because you live your life in a kosher way according to the Torah, and there's nothing, hopefully, that is making your livelihood, like your money and your life, anything impure. Okay, so if you're keeping at least Shabbat and kosher and whatever and trying, okay, then you can donate money to people in the nation of Israel who are learning Torah, and that will help you accumulate merit. in the game, okay? So that's going to help you. So if you, and I think everyone should do that, because right now we know that the state of Israel that's sitting in the land of Israel just cut off funding for these people that are learning the Torah, okay? So on the one hand, it seems like they're going to get less merits now because they had some certain merits that they could use in this game because they were supporting the people, the stars, the players of this team, the people who learn Torah. So, okay, so you can see some things happening in this world right now. Okay, so their merits are getting taken away. But at the same time, you can come in, okay, and tithe. It's at least 10% of your income. I mean, the Gaon from Vilna, again, he says 20%. If you can, you should. But you have to keep Shabbat, so it's all blessed. Okay, so now if you see people out here who call themselves Jews taking money from any Jew who doesn't keep Shabbat, it's not blessed. It's not going towards this ultimate goal. Shabbat Shalom. Let this be the first Shabbat that you stay home. Stay home at least.